This is our Functions2 tab in our Excel worksheet. It contains Unit 3 concepts. Our Unit 3 described a 5-number summary of some data. The 5 numbers included the smallest number in the data, the largest number in the data, and the middle number, or the median. These numbers we were able to compute before in the Functions1 tab of this worksheet. The minimum, we select the minimum function from the drop-down menu. Press enter, the minimum value is 38. Similarly, the maximum, we begin typing maximum, select the function, select the data, press enter, the maximum is 86. The median function, we do similarly, selecting it from the drop-down menu and supplying the data array from E2 over to S6. There's 3 numbers of the 5-number summary. We can see those numbers in the sorted data. I have our 75 pieces of data unordered, and I also have them sorted, and you can see the smallest number is 38, the largest number is 86, and the number in the middle, that's 62, that's the median. 1/4 of the way through the data is our first quartile. 3/4 of the way through the data is our third quartile. Much like a median function, we have a quartile function. We can begin typing it. QUA, the quartile with the extension EXC is the one we use. This agrees with our calculations we do in our notebook in Unit 3. Select this function, supply the data. With a comma, we need another piece of information. We must enter the 1 to show that we want the first quartile. Similarly, the third quartile, select the Quartile.exc, supply the array of data, comma, 3 for the third quartile. And so we have completed our 5-number summary consisting of the first quartile and the third quartile, along with our statistics, minimum, maximum, and the median. We used to do these calculations by hand. We would use a formula for percentiles. The median was known as the 50th percentile. The 50th percentile, there's a percentile function. You can begin typing it. Again, select the data. And this time, the additional information required is a number between 0 and 1. 50th percentile, 50%. 50 out of 100 is the same as 0.5. We select enter, and once again we get 62. The median is the 50th percentile. That's 2 ways to obtain 62, the median. The description of the percentile functions are on the left. Percentile.exc, we must supply, of course, the data range as one piece of data for the percentile function, and we must give it a number between 0 and 1. That is the percent to indicate which percentile we wish to have. If it's the 50th percentile, we give 0.5. The quartile function requires similarly the data range and some additional information to indicate which quartile we wish. Typically, that is either 1 or 3, but we could use the number 2. The could use the number 2 if we see what happens if we use the number 2, select the data, comma 2, what did we get? The median once again. The second quartile, 2 quarters, is the same as 1/2 or 50%. When we did these calculations by hand, we needed sorted data. We would use a formula such as the one indicated here for the position of the number we were looking for. In the case of the 90th percentile, we do 90 divided by 100 times n plus 1. That gives us 90 out of 100 times 76, which is a decimal number, 68.4. We break this up into 2 pieces, 68 and the 0.4, and interpret it to mean the 68th number plus 0.4 times the distance to the next number. The 68th number is highlighted, it's 75. The next number is 76. The distance to the next number is 1. And so our answer for the 90th percentile would be 75 plus 0.4 times the distance to the next number, which is 1. And so our answer is 75.4. Again, we needed sorted data. We needed the formula. We needed an interpretation of decimal positions. Excel has a percentile function. We can do this calculation more easily by supplying the data, comma, the number we supply for k, the number between 0 and 1, 90%, 90 out of 100, 0.9. Press enter. And we have the 90th percentile as 75.4 in agreement with our calculation done by hand. When you make a 5-number summary, frequently the next step is to draw a box and whisker plot. In the box and whisker plot, the box goes from Q1 to Q3, the first quartile to the third quartile. And so the interquartile range is computed as Q3 subtract Q1, 14 units. The distance from the first quartile to the third quartile is 14 units. The box of the box and whisker plot goes from the first quartile to the third quartile. The left-hand whisker starts at the first quartile and can go a maximum distance of 1.5 times the interquartile range. The maximum distance brings us to the left-hand fence. The left-hand fence would be the first quartile subtract 1.5 times, and we can click on the interquartile range. The left-hand fence in this case is 33. Similarly, the right-hand whisker begins at the third quartile, and it can go a maximum distance of 1.5 times the interquartile range. And so the upper fence, or the right-hand fence, is at the number 89. Are there any outliers in our data? Well, the smallest data element is 38. That is larger than the left-hand fence. The largest data element, 86, that's smaller than the right-hand fence. The minimum and the maximum are within the fences. All of our data is within the minimum and maximum, and so all of our data is within the fences, and therefore there are no outliers. And that brings us to the end of our Functions2 tab in our Excel worksheet.